We're going to graph some equations that you have the square root of x in the equation. And so we want to start off with just the basic shape of the graph. And it's not that hard to remember because the square root symbol kind of starts and then curves over the side. Well, the graph of a square root function, it's going to have a point that it starts at, and then it curves off to the side. Finding this point where it begins, that's your number one priority. Then you plot a couple more points and can sketch in the rest of it. So starting off with this equation here, f of x equals 2 square root of x minus 3 minus 4. If I want to figure out the point where this starts, then I need to set what's called the radicand equal to 0. And the radicand is the part in the equation that's underneath the square root. So notice the minus 4 is off to the side, the 2 is in the front. Only what's under the root set equal to 0. So in this one, that would be x minus 3 equals 0. I solve that by adding 3, and I find out that x is equal to 3, and that's going to be the x coordinate of where this graph starts. So from there, now I'm just going to have a number, plug it in, get an answer, plot a point. Starting off with substituting in 3 into my equation. So I've left some space here to substitute 3. When you simplify, you want to do what's underneath the root first. So 3 minus 3 is under the root, and that becomes 0. Next, I want to find the answer to the root, and the square root of 0 is 0. So I have 2 times 0 minus 4. Finishing with our order of operations, multiplication, then subtraction. So 2 times 0 is 0, and 0 minus 4 is negative 4. And we found out when we plug in 3, we get out negative 4. So our starting point is at 3 comma negative 4. Now another little shortcut that you can use is it's not a coincidence. See how underneath we had x minus 3 and it was positive 3. If this was x plus 5, it would be negative 5. But in any case, this is a straightforward way to find it. Now I want to select numbers kind of close to 3, but also keeping in mind, I'd like some numbers that I take the square root of, like square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, square root of 16 is 4. That would be my preference. So when I go to pick a number this time, if I pick a number, I would really like to, again, have a perfect square answer under there. Like, what could I pick so that my answer is 1? Because the square root of 1 is just 1. So I'm going to pick 4 to substitute in. So simplifying, 4 minus 3 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, and 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So I plugged in 4, I got out negative 2. So let me plot that point. Okay, so I have right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. Okay, I'm going to need to plug in one more. So substituting another number, I've used 4. The next number, the square root of 0 is easy, the square root of 1 is easy. The square root of 4 would be easy because 2 times 2 is 4. So thinking of a number that would make the answer be 4, that would be 7. So I'm going to go with 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So I have one more point here. So I'm going to go right 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up 0. If I would have substituted a number like 0, I would end up square rooting a negative, and that's just because there's no points on the left side of this one right here. So I'm going to grab my curve, sketch that in. All right, so here's the graph of my square root function. So keep in mind, you want to find out what makes underneath the root equal to 0, and that's the x coordinate of the starting point. Plug that number in to get your y, and then pick a couple more points.